Hey YouTube, Untamed here. Today behind me I have a 2024 Ford F250 Super Duty Lariat. I'm very excited to show this truck to you guys because it is sporting that 7.3 liter V8, the Godzilla motor, and I've always been very interested in this particular truck. So today I'm going to highlight the exterior, the interior, give you my top 3 likes, my top 3 dislikes, then we'll wrap up the video with talking through the resale value of this particular truck here, and I'll give you my personal opinion of if it is a good truck to buy. So before I jump into that, I do want to say a huge thank you to Ken Gar Ford here in Cheyenne, Wyoming. They gave me the opportunity to review this truck today for you guys, so thank you to them. If you're interested in this truck or any truck like it, they do have a few available options on their lot to include this one. So check out their website in my video description below if you're interested. Let's get into it. So let's start by looking at the exterior of this beautiful 2024 F250 Super Duty here. This particular color is called Glacier Gray, and I gotta tell you, as the sun hits it, you get a little bit of a metallic flake in it. It kind of starts to poke out a little bit, and it really does look exceptional. So you guys know in 2023, Ford updated the front end of their pickups here, their F250 and up, right? We got the upgraded, this is some personal opinion here, headlights here, and I think it looks pretty cool. You get the black bezeling throughout it, and I think it just looks pretty menacing. It's a very fitting look for this truck, but I know there's a lot of people who don't love that too. Personally, I think it is a big plus of it. We've got some tow hooks up front. This one is sporting the Sport Appearance package, something to note, as well as the off-road package. And we'll kind of dissect the details when we look at the window sticker here in a second. But really, let's just look at the outside. Highlight the wheels here. These are some carbonized, dark carbonized 20-inch wheels. They are wrapped in some Bridgestone tires. They're 275/65 by 20s. Pan out a little bit here. Let's see how far back I had to go to get the whole thing in the shot. There you go. It's a huge truck, but I tell you what, when you're driving it, it doesn't feel gargantuan like it really is. It feels pretty nimble and light on its feet, which you really appreciate. There's your F250 badge here, the Lariat up top, your tow mirrors, of course. I do like that you get this little side step out here in the bed. It's pretty nice. Matching the side steps and running boards for this particular one. You do have Ford stamped in them. Yeah, I just love this Glacier Gray. It's a fitting look, fitting color for this truck. There's your Sport 4x4 decal out back. Rear quarter panel shot. Super Duty embossed in the tailgate. And some additional steps here in the corner. No bed liner in this particular one. I appreciate the look of these taillights, so I think that looks pretty sleek, pretty basic, but I appreciate that. I mean, it is still a work truck at the end of the day. And single side exit exhaust. So now let's take a second, we'll hop inside, we'll do a real quick look at the interior of this F250. So your standard key fob here, which we've gotten pretty used to at this point, of course. Ford uses this same exact key fob really across the lineup for the most part, but they're nice. A decent amount of heft to it and some metal finishes on the inside here for the buttons. We'll unlock it, we'll hop in. Do have your keypad lock entry up top. And you are greeted with pretty nice finishes within the Lariat here. I thought for sure I was going to be a little more underwhelmed with this particular trim, but I don't know, I find it to be pretty impressive. Onyx black leather interior. And one thing you really note with Ford in particular, their pickup trucks, you have a ton of headroom. So a lot of taller individuals really opt for Ford, from my personal experience anyway, and people that I know. They say it's a little bit better compared to the competition. Some nice wood finishing up here. And similar to what I had in my F-150 Raptor, this kind of like almost like denim jean looking material up here, but it's nice to the touch. Leather right here, nice comfortable padding for your elbow. Your Bang & Olufsen sound system. Let me hop in here. Get out of the Wyoming wind, huh? And this is what I mean. You get in here and you see the finishes like this, and I don't know, I find it to be pretty impressive for the Lariat trim here. And at a price tag of $73,500 about, this does not seem like a bad idea, really. Get a lot of headspace all around, just a commanding view of the road with the huge windows all around. We'll go ahead and foot on the brake, push to start. There's your startup sequence there. This one does still have the stickers on it up on the screen. We have a 12-inch multimedia display center here, and of course a fully digital gauge display here. Some nice finishes down here in the center console. You got a small little compartment here with your wireless Qi charging tray for your cell phone that does charge through a cell phone case, like an OtterBox, which is nice. And your pretty easy to use and easy to navigate climate controls and volume controls down here. I really appreciate this. Your heated and cool seat, of course. And again, the nice finishes really go through the entire belt line of the interior here, which really looks great. Here's some of your door controls over here for your windows, as well as your locks, and adjustability for your tow mirrors over here. Give you a better view. Here's your steering wheel with the control setup that we've gotten used to over the last several years for Ford in particular. Your volume controls over here, as well as your cruise control set and adjustability there. Now it definitely is a pleasant place to be. In these seats, a lot of adjustability within them. I think it's 8-way adjustability, and they're plenty comfortable. Let's go and hop out back. So looking out back, you have about a 1/4 acre of space, it feels, out here. Plenty of leg room for any of your backseat occupants. Love that. Any full-size adult can comfortably sit in here. Here's your fan vents down here, as well as you have a couple C-port charging trays there, charging ports, as well as heated seats for the rear, which is nice. We'll go ahead and hop in here, give you an idea of what 5'9" looks like in the back seat anyway. So that is my comfortable seating position up there, being 5'9". So obviously several inches of space above my head even, which is really nice. Got this little window back here that slides to the side, but better than nothing for sure. One thing I appreciate about Ford in particular is they have a flat floor back here. It doesn't hump up in the middle. That's always a nice touch. But no, definitely a nice spot to be for sure. Got a little newspaper cubby here out back, and a couple additional cup holders there. You have them up front. So one thing you always appreciate, especially being a dad, having plenty of cup holders. Yeah, pretty nice interior. So I'm going to real quickly give you a better idea of what this 7.3 liter V8 sounds like with this single side exit exhaust. So let's check it out. right, let's take a sneak peek under the hood here and get a glimpse of the 7.3 liter V8, the Godzilla engine underneath here. I read a lot of forum reviews on this, and I see a lot of people who really just swear by this platform. Ford has done a really good job at developing an engine that can actually, perform exceptionally well, do 9 out of the 10 things that anybody would want to do with their pickup truck. It can tow up to 17,200 pounds, which is, again, enough to tow dang near anything nowadays. So this here is a great option, and it's a gas option. Some people they don't want to lean into the whole diesel thing, and I understand that personally. Having owned a couple diesels myself, there is value in keeping it with gas, especially with current prices, right, between diesel and gas. So this here is the heart of the beast, and I'm very, very impressed with just how smooth the power comes on, especially tied to that 10-speed automatic transmission. It's a very linear power delivery, and I think you'll quickly notice that when you get behind the wheel. When it comes to actually the ease of working on it, you got a lot of plastic shrouding up front here, but overall everything is pretty accessible. It's a giant engine, so it needs to be downward and tucked into into the vehicle a little bit, and you'd expect that given how big it is, right? But really, it doesn't appear to be too daunting when it comes to accessing things that you might need to replace or fix and maintain, right? So I'm pretty impressed with it. And yes, I barely meet the height requirement. 5'9" might be the height requirement because you can barely just get a finger on it to bring it on down. And a quick snapshot of the Maroni sticker here, the Windows sticker. So with an MSRP of just over $73,000, this feels like a good buy. Give you an idea of what we're working with here. This optional color, Glacier Gray, is about another $1,000 add. Base MSRP before the additions here, you can see it there, is $64,740, and then we have $6,700 worth of additions on this particular truck, to include the most notable over here being the Sport Appearance package, as well as the FX4 off-road package, as you see over here. Yeah, that 7.3 liter V8 is extremely nice. The power delivery is extremely linear and just feels right driving it. So a huge fan of this particular Godzilla motor. Definitely impressed with it, and I think you will be too. All right, we are setting off in the 2024 F250 Super Duty here, the 7.3 liter V8. Honestly, I didn't really know too much about this before getting the opportunity to review it. So I've been doing a lot of homework on it, and I tell you what, this has developed a really good reputation amongst their owners anyway. So looking at all the forums, people who own this truck swear by it. All right, we're gonna test 0 to 60 in this 7.3 liter Godzilla motor. All right. There we have it. A little bit of wheel spin at the beginning there. Obviously, it's a little bit wet outside, so not the best conditions to be testing that, but want to get an idea of what we're working with. Man, it really cranks up there. Definitely impressive. So let's talk through my personal top 3 likes and top 3 dislikes here. So this particular truck, the things I really appreciated most would be just how simplistic and utilitarian it feels, right? So it feels like a work truck, right? So you have all the additional steps all throughout it, a pretty simplistic interior, although, some nice touches and finishes within it. It is still very simplistic, easy to use, very intuitive. Everything is very simple to navigate, and I really appreciate that in a truck in particular. My second like would be the power delivery. We talked about that a couple times in this video, and I really mean that. When you get on the throttle, it shifts so smooth, right? And the power just comes on in such linear fashion. And I really, really appreciate that about this truck, especially if you're gonna be towing with it. It makes sense for it to be such a linear power delivery. My third like would be the commanding view and exceptional visibility. Right, so when you get in it, this is a staple to Ford at this point. They're Ford pickup trucks. When you get in it, you can just see, you're like in a fishbowl. You see everything around you, and it feels exceptional. Between that and the cameras around the vehicle, you feel, like I said, that commanding view of the road, and it really is second to none. Those are my 3 likes. All right, let's talk through my 3 dislikes. Now keep in mind, this is totally just my personal opinion, right? My dislikes here might actually be your favorite things about this truck. But for me, my top one would be just the lack of excitement when it comes to the design. The front end looks great. I am a big fan of the new headlight housing and just the blacked out trims up front. It looks great in my opinion. However, the side I feel like could use a little bit of work making it just look a little better, right? A very boxy design of this truck. And to be fair, this has kind of become what F250s are. They're just kind of boxy looking trucks. That's a part of the design. To me, I prefer some rounded off edges. I prefer seeing some fender flares where we don't see that here, right? A very basic looking side profile on this particular truck. And when we're spending $73,500, I would maybe just hope for a little bit more design cues when it comes to the exterior of the vehicle. So that's my number one. You know, the exterior design I think could use a little bit of work. My second one here, a small item, but I'll throw it out for fun. No wheel well liners. Again, we're spending $73,500. You're not going to get wheel well liners. I feel like that just looks incomplete. You tell me. I mean, that's a lot of money to spend, and you're getting upgraded appearance packages on this one in particular, and they don't throw in a wheel well liner. It feels a little strange to me. And this last item here, you might disagree with me. I'm kind of speaking out both sides of my mouth on purpose, okay? I kind of wish there was a little bit more drama to it. It sounds good in the cabin when you're on throttle with this 7.3 liter V8. It sounds good, but I wish for a little bit more drama. You know, it having that ginormous Godzilla engine, I want it to scream like Godzilla. I want it to have a little bit more drama to the driving experience. It is super smooth. That's why I'm speaking out both sides of my mouth. It feels very comfortable, but again, kind of lacks a little bit of excitement. It's a work truck at the end of the day. It doesn't need to have a ton of excitement. I get it. But for me, those are my 3 dislikes. What do you think? So what does a resale look like on this particular truck? After doing a nationwide search and looking at a couple dozen of these particular F250 Super Duty Lariats with about 5,000 to 15,000 miles on them, was the majority anyway. Some had a little bit more than that. These have held value extremely well. In most cases, they were within $5,000 of the original MSRP. So, you know, that's saying something, especially right now where we have seen a pretty huge downward tick for the used vehicle market in general. The values of vehicles are plummeting throughout the last 5, 6, 7 months as of right now, February 2024. But this has held value extremely well, and that's a testament to the 7.3 liter V8. People love this particular platform. Minimal issues with it based on the reviews that I've read and seen. People love this platform, and for good reason. After having driven it, I can see why. So resale does appear to be promising. You know, F250s in general, you know, normally looking at diesels tend to run a lot longer, right? And because of that, Super Duties in general have always been a really good buy. You can buy it, drive it for 100,000 miles, and not lose your rear end on it come time to sell it, because they can run for 300,000, 400,000 miles with very little issue. So to answer the question up front, would I recommend buying this particular 2024 F250 Super Duty Lariat? I would say yes. It does offer tremendous peace of mind, you know, great power delivery like we talked through. It's just a fun truck to be in, I think. Right? Very fun, very comfortable for the family. Plenty of seating space back here with a lot of leg room. It's a comfortable truck. Commanding view of the road. You really can't ask for much more nowadays. So I recommend getting it. Let me know what your thoughts are of this new F250. Would you get it? And forgive me, I always forget to include it, but if you found any kind of value in this particular review video, I would sincerely appreciate it if you considered liking and subscribing. It definitely helps out the channel tremendously, and I greatly appreciate it. There'll be a lot more reviews to come on multiple vehicles, and I'm super receptive to your recommendations. If there's a vehicle you'd like to see me do a review on and provide my perspective on, just let me know in the comments section. I'm happy to do so. Appreciate you watching as always. Until next time.